Alright, this week a whole lot just happened. This is now the most powerful Red Bull with 8,000 milligrams of caffeine. Samson Dauda measured his arms at 24 inches. Open Bodybuilders now taking Reta to try. The best protein on the market is now being sued. We got a Dino physique update, and there's a new form of pharmacology out there that will help you lose fat, gain muscle with no androgenic side effects. So let's get into what the is going on in fitness. Okay, we have to start with Samson Dauda measuring his biceps at 24 inches at 328 pounds in the full off season.
24, wait a minute. I get it on the night.
Don't cheat him.
I caught 24 inches. 24 inches. That might be the smallest arm. That's the biggest arm right there.
Now, the biggest biceps I've ever seen recorded on camera was Greg Kovacs, who measured his biceps at 25.5 inches, which is literally insane. Unfortunately, he never won any big pro shows with having biceps like that. From this picture that was just taken this past weekend, Samson looks absolutely massive next to Derek Lunsford. Now, of course, Samson has the angle on Derek, but bodybuilders are usually not that good when they're that big of stature, especially at 6 foot and over 300 pounds. I mean, Samson will 100% be the biggest guy from the weight standpoint on the Mr. Olympia stage. And speaking of guys getting ready for a bodybuilding show, Neckzilla is actually 2 weeks out from the Dubai Pro. And in the past, he's just had this overall conditioning problem, and it honestly seems like he's still having that problem. It's clear his legs are just huge, but they're just not proportional at all when it comes to looking at his upper body. And that's why his side shots are so good, but when he does like a back double bicep, he just does not look that good. And the question still stands, will we ever see Neckzilla on a Mr. Olympia stage? Hopefully, but I just think he needs some little tweaking still to just actually get to that level, because there's no doubt that this guy has enough muscle. I mean, it's absolutely crazy the amount of muscle mass he has on his frame. And we also had a physique update by Dino 20 weeks out from Mr. Olympia. Now he's currently 18 weeks out, but this video is from 20 weeks out. And he did a full posing session with his coach, which is something that he's definitely struggled with in the past. Now, it does look like he's put some size on, especially from his back after having a long off season, because he didn't compete at the Arnold Classic, and he did qualify for the Mr. Olympia last year. He did it at the Brazil Pro, I believe. And at this point, the classic physique division is literally open for grabs. I know Mike Sommerfeld is the favorite to win, but I do think if Ramon can have his conditioning down, he will give himself a good shot at potentially winning this upcoming Mr. Olympia. And he looks a lot better than he did a couple months ago. He definitely had that off-season fluff on his physique just a couple months ago. We all know that the last Mr. Olympia, he just had a sweating problem. It could have been a peaking problem, not posing enough during the off-season, or just not being fully in shape. He can get these things in check. I mean, he has a great shot at competing with all the other guys on stage. I mean, he came second place at the second ever Mr. Olympia attempt, and he came runner up to Chris Bumstead twice. This guy is a very good bodybuilder, and he's completely stayed in the mix since 2021 when he first stepped on the Mr. Olympia stage. Now, I have to talk about the David protein bar because I just made a video on them just a couple days ago. They were in just the recap video of what's going on, and they're now actually being sued because they ended up buying this so-called ingredient technology called EPG. Now, quickly, what is EPG? Well, it's a modified plant-based oil, and it's the only fat alternative available that can cut 92% of calories from fat. And Ekkovision is the company behind this new technology that sold it to the David bar, which again, for $75 million, which yes, is a lot of money, but they have quickly monopolized this ingredient so others can simply not use it. And I still believe that the David bar is still a great product. I mean, the calorie to protein ratio is out of this world, but them withholding this ingredient and technology for other companies to use just does not seem right. And I personally know 5 companies who have been fully affected by this, whether a startup or they're a company that already has a product using EPG. Like, their whole product line has now been halted because of this. And per the owner of the David bar, he stated, "We wanted to de-risk things and control the supply issue to ensure we have enough EPG to support our business and our growth as our demand occupies all of EPG's capacity for the short term." And as you can see, the owner seems to want to have full control over this because he will make that $75 million back very quickly, and a whole lot more money on top of that because he's in charge of this great technology. There's actually a full court case and lawsuit going on, like I said, and it's actually happening on June 13th, so we will eventually see what happens. Now, this technology and ingredient is technically a patented, so again, the David bar is not doing anything wrong under any guidelines. It just does not seem right to not let any other companies use this, and now it seems like they're just monopolized it. So we'll see what happens with that one. Now we have to talk about 2 pharmacologies that have been integrated pretty much in bodybuilding or are going to probably be integrated in bodybuilding. One is open bodybuilders are now taking retatrutide. On a recent podcast, Nick Walker did say that for this bodybuilding prep leading up to the Pittsburgh Pro and New York Pro Show, he did use the peptide known as retatrutide, which is an appetite suppressant, and he said himself that it worked really well for him.
I was completely against him being open to even trying peptides. And Kyle had me use that retatrutide.
Yep.
Just for more of an appetite suppressant, so I'm not starving in prep. And it worked.
Yep. It worked really well.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
It kept me I think in a much better mood.
Right, for sure.
And it also burned fat.
Yeah.
Really, really, to the point where, bro, like I didn't need to do a lot of cleanse.
Right.
Any large amount of T3, like nothing.
Also, the great thing about taking this was it burned a lot of fat very well, and so much so that Nick did not have to use harder compound to lose fat during his prep. Now, if you don't know what Reta is, it's a triple hormone receptor agonist targeting GLP-1. It's primarily aimed at treating obesity and has shown promise in weight loss and diabetes management. And I believe this will be something that a lot of guys start implementing, and I know many already have. And it just seems like this will be a peptide that potentially, if you don't use it, you're just gonna get left behind. And there's definitely been some clashing going on between guys who are fully retired, guys who are competing now and taking it, first guys who are competing and not taking it, because on this hand, they're like, oh, you should feel the hunger during prep. And the guys over here are like, why would I do that if I can just take a peptide and not feel hunger? I mean, come on. And then, of course, the retired guys, I mean, those guys up there always got something to say. We got Lee Haney saying that bodybuilders need a restart. So we'll just leave it at that one. Now, Nick has seemingly transitioned right into the Mr. Olympia prep. He's 18 weeks out and he looks absolutely dialed in. And I would put a lot of money on that is because of the retatrutide he's taking. And if the results keep coming, I think this peptide is going to be used a ton in bodybuilding, and not even just bodybuilding, just overall diabetes and health and everything like that. It just seems like a lot of people who are on it really enjoy it. Okay, so now this is a new pharmacology that potentially could be used in bodybuilding. It's absolutely insane. Now, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has released a so-called magic elixir. It's just, some drugs that have some crazy results. Now, I'm going to absolutely butcher this name, but Regeneron created Trevogrumab, a myostatin antagonist, and Garadosmab, an A antagonist. I don't know who is making these names, but it's just way too hard to say. Now, both of these work by uncapping your body's natural potential for muscle growth. There were full clinical trials done by this company on monkeys. Now, what I'm showing is actually the results of human clinical trials that I'll talk about in a second, but there's a ton of potential here. Now, the monkey that was given a triple compound with the two drugs I said above with semaglutide lost roughly 1,400 grams of body fat, but gained 450 grams of muscle, whereas the other monkeys that were either natural, given just semaglutide, or the combo of semaglutide and trevogrumab together, those monkeys all lost body fat, but they also lost a substantial amount of muscle as well. And like I said, they are actually in stage 2 clinical trials with humans, so we will soon see what happens when the humans take this. From the data that was given by Regeneron from these human clinical trials after stage 2, it looks like it's actually working as well on humans. But the biggest takeaway from this combo is that there's no androgenic side effects, which is absolutely huge. Now, if you can't fully cusp how crazy this is, if you have a 200-pound man at 20% body fat, he would lose roughly 28 pounds of fat while gaining 9 pounds of muscle, and he would be 6.5% body fat in just 5 months. I mean, that is absolutely insane. This would literally change, not just bodybuilding again, but just overall, like the health sphere, fitness space, it would be just insane. And now we have to talk about the world's most powerful Red Bull. And this thing literally has 8,000 milligrams of caffeine. Now, how they did this was they concentrated 100 cans into just 1 can of Red Bull. Honestly, the overall process is actually pretty simple. They had a machine pretty much do it all, but it dried the ingredients of the Red Bull. From those dry ingredients, they were able to get 252 grams of solid Red Bull. And then they just mixed 200 mils of water in it, and they added some carbonation to make it seem like it was a Red Bull. I'm not gonna lie, I've never even had a Red Bull, and I did not know that it was brown like that, and this just does not look appealing at all to drink. But at the end of this process, this truly was the most powerful Red Bull, because if you had 7 milliliters or half a tablespoon, it equated to 1 entire can of Red Bull. Imagine drinking this before a workout. That would probably be your last workout on this earth. Do not let any powerlifter or bodybuilder get close to that can, because it would be pretty dangerous.
Let's see, was this all worth it? Weeks of drying Red Bull. Whoa. That's crazy. Crazy good. Legitimately, there's so much citric acid in it. I don't know what happened to the sweetener. The sweetener's gone. This tastes like some sort of sour candy. It's genuinely really good though.
But anyways, that is everything that went down in the bodybuilding, fitness, and health space. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. The last video did the best I've ever had like a video do on long form, which is absolutely crazy. So these are going to be coming more and more often as more news comes out. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I might have already said that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.